Hello and welcome to another Read With Me session. I am Isabel Bedell and I'm here to read with you another amazing part of this incredible book, The Icarus Deception by Seth Godin. Seth Godin, the amazing guru in all sorts of advertising, marketing, storytelling. I mean, the guy's an awesome, and he's been in the space for a really long time. Our first company, just so you know, our first company was all about organic lead generation. So the marketing side of business, that was one of the things that we were really into. I love systems. I love being the one almost like on the back end, understanding how the things all flow together, automations, and being able to do one thing one time and have everything streamlined so it continuously grows organically over time while the system is managing it all. Now, what I love about this book and how it relates to this is that this book is very the opposite of systems. I would like to call it breaking systems, breaking paradigms, breaking the reality that a lot of us in the marketing and advertising world think is reality, and completely shifting from that. Because what he's really focusing on is the artist. The artist. What does that mean? Is that you and we are both artists. And the way that we're able to communicate in today's world and today's language and the necessity that it requires is for your artistry to come out in the most authentic way possible. Some of us may think that we're artists, but we're really just copying other people and then regurgitating what's out on the internet. And that's not artistry. What he's talking about, artists, is that from the purest form, you're able to intake information and then fully create your own opinion, your own methods, your own interpretation of things, and then exude that into the world in a very authentic and true way where it's an extension of you in all of your essence. I know it's a big one to swallow, so make sure to get that big jug of water and replenish yourself, because the first the first quote that pops up into this section that we're going to go into, it's by the one and only our boy Albert Einstein. Okay, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. I swear, I love these type of quotes, because you might be living in a situation where it's not the most optimized for who you are at the moment. But as you continue to grow, as you continue to develop yourself, and this is what this channel is all about, personal and financial development. Once you start getting into that whole realm, and you start building yourself back up into the way that you want to, not how your parents or your friends or society or how the news or the past generations or none of that. It's you, how you create yourself, how you rebuild yourself, and how you authenticate yourself. In a way, you're minting a whole new version of you. That's what we're going to dive into. And if you're interested in that, follow. Standardization in the industrial age was not a choice. It was impossible to industrialize without it. Originality and art in the connected age are not a choice either. It's impossible to do work before us without them. It's impossible to connect without art. So the old safety zone is dead. Long live the new safety zone. Sacrifices before the Moloch. Moloch, whose mind is pure machinery, Moloch, whose blood is running money, Moloch, whose fingers are 10 armies, and Moloch, whose breast is a cannibal dynamo, Moloch, whose ear is a smoking tomb. The system demanded a high price for its promises of safety and reassurances and gimmicks. It demanded that we give up our voices and accept differences, lesser dreams. We traded debt for an SUV, sure, but we also traded independent thought and the ability to stand up and say, look what I did. The new, connected economy demands different sacrifices and offers a different sort of safety zone. In this new safety zone, we are surrounded not by the mass market, but by the weird, by the few who are deeply caring about what we're capable of. The economy demands that we spin the log even faster, doing not the work of making the same widget faster and cheaper in a race to the bottom, but the work of connecting and entertaining and amazing with our most vivid dreams possible. This is not for everyone, though. The weird are the people outside of the normal zone. The normal distribution ruled the lives of the last 4 generations. It was the curve that defined the mass market, that showed where efficiency of marketing and manufacturing lay. DVD players cost $80 because they're cheap to make when everybody wants one. Walmart moves into town and the masses shop there, enabling huge selection of cheaper prices. Mass marketing is efficient. The internet and the connection economy turn the economics of mass on its head. It's now cheaper and even more efficient to make edgy, amazing products for the weird edge cases. And the ones who are listening and talking are the ones who care. Then it is to push yet another average product onto already overloaded average people in the middle of the curve. It's better to be safe than sorry. In the industrial age, the age of standardization and interchangeable parts, it's all about being safe. The system is so valuable, the processes so polished that the safe guarantees productivity and profits. Keep it moving, keep it efficient, and keep it reliable. Better sorry than safe. And that's the heart of the argument about our future. In the industrial age, there's no question that it was better to be safe than sorry, better to be close to an airport hours before the storm hit than to risk having a plane get stuck somewhere. And as the power and impact of the industrial age peak and inevitably shrink, safe isn't helpful. We can be as safe as possible, and it's not going to generate growth. It's not going to take advantage of the myriad connections we can now make, and it's certainly not going to benefit you. The representatives of Moloch will pick someone even safer than you, guaranteed. No, the only path left veers away from safe and heads straight for sorry. Sorry? Yes, the sorry of vulnerability and unpredictability and repeated failure, combined with the joy of connection, breakthroughs, and humanity. Here's the right answer. The search for the right answer is the enemy of art. The search for the right answer is the enemy of art. That's a strong piece of language there. The right answer belongs to the productivity-minded industrialist, to Taylor and the denizens of scientific management. Icarus was not told to fly too high and not to fly too low. But what's the right altitude? Where's the map? Where's the safe middle? Art has no answer. The best we can hope for is an interesting answer. And wow, what a powerful way to look at that, because going back to what I just shared at the beginning, because you are an artist, because that is what is really something that is required now to make an impact, to make a change, to really not fall a victim of all the crap that's out there. If you're playing it safe and you're looking for the right answer, you're gonna be left in the shadows of everyone else that's making an impact. I always hear this all the time, like, why isn't this video making an impact? Why isn't it getting reach? Why isn't it like standing out? It's because it's not good content. It's not good content and people don't resonate with it. And typically, and he went over this in the previous, people are more in tune with like the negative. So like if it's negative news, people are all about that. They like go for it. They listen in a little deeper, but when it's positive news, when it's like great news and you're like excited to share it, it's like no one cares. So the way to introduce art and make sure that it sticks with an audience, it's when you're able to introduce your own flair. Sometimes that controversial way, that controversial look, or maybe that interesting approach is what gets people excited, what gets people wanting to learn more or interested because you're different. And that's what people desire and want and need right now more than ever. He goes into this, but is it even possible? Do you have the right stuff? The ability to do important work, to make art, to challenge the status quo. What if it is for the people and not for you? Malcolm Gladwell famously reported that the most NHL players are born in January, February, or March. I was born in January, so this is why it's important to me. The reason it turns out is that when you're 8 years old, being 9 months older than the other kids is a huge advantage. The advantage gets you a spot on the traveling team, more ice time, and better coaching, and it compounds. In some ways, certain Canadian boys are born to play hockey. If born means the right country and the right birthday. If your goal was to be in the NHL one day, then your zodiac sign really matters. Fortunately for the rest of us, aka all of us, art is not only possible, it is inevitable if we allow it to happen. There are so many places that art and connection are needed, so many avenues that are open, so many opportunities that no one is boxed out of. It's not about whether we have what it takes, it's about whether we choose to pursue it. Of course, it's difficult to overcome a lifetime of education and brainwashing. New habits will have to be created and new expectations to go with them. But the astonishing news is that for the first time in the record of history, it matters not so much where you're born or what your DNA says about you. It's the connection economy. The connection economy is waiting for you to step forward with only the resistance to hold you back. Have patience with everything unresolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves. That's a quote by Rainer Maria Rilke. Powerful. Hope, the lottery, and compliance. Hope is an essential part of the human condition. Without hope, we wither and perish. But how to create in an industrialized society, in an economy where compliance or the assembly line is the best way to produce productivity, or economy has become a giant lottery? Perhaps you'll get picked on to be on American Idol. Perhaps you'll sue someone to get a windfall. Perhaps you'll be the one who gets promoted to partner as a result of all of your hard work, but maybe you won't. You will. Maybe we celebrate the Forbes 400 and the masters of the universe and the lucky few who have won the corporate lottery, because secretly we are celebrating our chances of winning the lottery as well. Like most lotteries, this is a loser's game. With the odds against us, what appears to be a meritocracy is actually a rigged game and a wheel of fortune. The marketers feed the population a constant stream of products that are apparently worth buying. The broadcasters mix the ads with amusements and diversions, and they sit quietly, do what you're told, and perhaps maybe one day you'll get out of debt and be a winner. The alternative, which is the independent creation of art, doesn't happen overnight. You don't win the art lottery and get picked and suddenly find all doors open and receptive to your vision and generosity and talent. No, 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 no. The commitment to art is the return of an ancient habit. one that is relentlessly extinguished for a long, long time. We can suddenly quit a job and then race to find a form of art that will pay off before the next mortgage payment is due. Creating art is a habit, one that we practice daily or hourly until we get good at it. Art isn't about the rush of victory that comes from being picked, nor does it involve compliance. Art in the post industrial age is a lifelong habit, a stepwise process that incrementally allows us to create even more art. And here are the assets that matter. Successful organizations have realized that they are no longer in the business of coining slogans, running catchy ads, and optimizing their supply chains to cut costs. And freelancers and soloists have discovered that doing a good job for a fair price is no longer sufficient to guarantee success. Good work is easier to find than ever before. This is what matters now: trust, permission, remarkability, leadership, stories that spread, humanity, the connection, the compassion, the humility. And here's the thing: all six of these are the result of successful work by artists. These assets aren't generated by external strategies and MBA positioning memos. These are the results of internal trauma, of brave decisions, and the willingness to live in dignity. They are about standing out, not fitting in, about inventing and not duplicating. Trust and permission. In a marketplace that's open to just about anyone, the only people we hear are the people that we choose to hear. Let me repeat that for you. In a marketplace that's open to just about anyone, the only people we hear are the people that we choose to hear. Media is cheap, sure, but attention is filtered, and it's virtually impossible to be heard unless the consumer gives us the ability to be heard. The more valuable someone's attention is, the harder it is to earn. And who gets heard? Why would someone listen to a prankster or the shyster or the huckster? No, we choose to listen to what we trust. We do business with and donate to those who have earned our attention. We seek out people who tell us stories that resonate. We listen to those stories and we engage with those people or businesses who delight or reassure us or surprise us in a positive way. And all of those behaviors are the act of people, not machines. We embrace the humanity in those around us, particularly as the rest of the world appears to become less human and more cold. Remarkability. The same bias towards art exists in the same way we choose which ideas we'll share with our friends and colleagues. No one talks about the boring, the predictable, or the safe. We don't risk interactions or order to spread the word about something obvious or trite. The remarkable is always new and untested, fresh, and risky. Leadership. This is huge right here. Management is almost diametrically opposed to leadership. Management is about generating yesterday's result, but a little faster and a little bit more cheaply. We know how to manage the world. We relentlessly seek to cut costs and to limit variation while we exalt obedience. But leadership, though, this is a whole other game. Leadership puts the leader on the line. No manual, no rule book. There's no fingers to point here, okay? When things go wrong, there's no finger pointing. If you ask someone for the rule book on how to lead, you're secretly wishing to be a manager. And leaders are vulnerable, not controlling. They are taking us to a new place, not to the place of cheap, fast, and compliant and safety. This is where stories spread. The next asset that makes the new economy work is the stories that spread. And before the revolution, in a world of limited choices, shelf space mattered a great deal. You could buy your way onto the shelf store, or you could be the only one on the ballot, or you could use a connection to get your resume in front of the hiring guy. But in a world of abundant choice, though, none of these tactics are effective. None of them. The chooser has too many alternatives. There's too much clutter, and the scarce resources are attention and trust. The scarce resources are attention and trust, not the shelf space. This situation is tough for many because attention and trust must be earned, not acquired. More difficult still is the magic of the story that resonates. After trust in your work is seen, only a fractional of it is magical enough to be worth spreading. And again, this magic is the work of the human artist, not the corporate machine. Humanity. We don't worship industrial the way that we used to. We seek out human originality and caring instead. When price and availability are no longer sufficient advantages because everything is available and the price is no longer news, then what we are drawn to is a vulnerability and transparency that brings us together, that turn the other into us, into one of us. For a long time to come to the masses will still clamor for cheap and obvious reliable. But the people that seek the most value seek to lead. The people who are helping to define the next big thing in the interesting frontier. These people want your humanity, not your discounts. All these assets roll into one, provide the foundation for the change maker of the future. And the individual or the team, the person that leads, they have no choice but to build these assets with novelty, with a fresh approach to an old problem with a human touch that is worth talking about. Wow, I love that. I love that because not only is it a powerful way to establish the platform, okay, which is what ideally everybody wants to be part of. That's why you're on Instagram. That's why you're on Facebook. That's why you're on LinkedIn, even TikTok, you know? All those make a big, big difference on why it is that you're there. So that fresh approach to an old problem with a human touch, wow, I love that so much. And then I'm going to finish it off with this quote by Neil Young. Holding back is so close to stealing. Holding back is so close to stealing. It's true. It's true. You're stealing someone's ability to connect with you. And that is the art. That is what brings us together. And when we are coming together, we are fighting the good fight. The good fight of being human. The good fight of breathing, living, learning from each other, growing together. That's what being human is all about. And I think that especially when we're younger and we're just figuring out who we are and who we want to become, this is probably the hardest thing to receive. And once you have a couple of, self-growth spurts within you and you can feel that pain of growing, you won't ever take it into you won't be able to take advantage of it. You won't be able to take advantage of that. It's very important. So I'm going to leave it with this. This is what matters now. Trust, permission, remarkability, leadership, stories that spread, and then humanity. Humanity, connection, compassion, and humility. All right. That is the connection economy and what Seth Godin believes to be the 6 ways that you can become valuable in today's world. I'll see you in the next one where we go over some more deep stuff and we actually uncover the importance of emotional labor, the importance of self-selection, and how to actually pick yourself first in order for you to provide the most of you to others. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to get the book. Use the links below. The Icarus Deception by Seth Godin. And shine, baby. Shine.